Well, it's great to be with everyone this afternoon as we come together to reflect on this project that we've been working on together. My name's Matthew, and I'm joined by Bishop Sophie of Doncaster, Sharon and Toby, part of the SLDP team that have been working on this project, Faith in the Parish. Bishop Sophie, the project was really your idea to begin with. Remind us what it was that you had in mind when you came up with the brief for this project.
Well, thanks. It's great to be with you. So one of the reasons that I was invited to sponsor this particular project is because I've had quite a lot of experience of parish ministry and I'm really committed to it. And there's been lots of discussion recently about what parish ministry really is all about, what the future of the parish is, particularly in relation to the mission of the Church of England and especially in the light of the vision and strategy work that's going on at the moment. And so I was really committed to thinking about how can we renew and restore faith in the parish for all those who are deeply committed to it and think about what the future mission opportunities might be. And so I was really delighted that you were also enthusiastic about this topic. And so it's great to be joined by a number of people to join in the conversation to see how we could perhaps inform and improve that conversation as time went on.
That's brilliant, and it's great to be reminded of that at the outset of these series of podcasts. And as we began to shape the project, we realised we had to narrow the scope. In many ways, what you wrote, Bishop Sophie, could have taken several years and much resource. So we focused on General Synod members as key influencers in the Church of England to try and inform the conversation, particularly there, in the hope that that would have a kind of wider effect on the wider church through those key influencers. And we began to shape, didn't we, this project which looks like a series of podcasts in the hope that it would become widely available and easily accessible to General Synod members and continue that conversation that you've already spoken about, Bishop Sophie.
That's right. I was delighted about how the project team has taken those ideas and really moved them forward. And I think you're right, General Synod plays a really key role in the life of our church, and I think its diversity and breadth is something that we really felt was important for this project in the initial phase, really, in the hope that it can be impactful and influential for the wider Church of England in the longer term.
Brilliant. So as a team, we came together and started to make a plan, and our team is brought together from a wide variety of traditions and diversity. Toby, tell us a bit more about the team that's involved.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're coming, as you say, from diverse backgrounds theologically. We're coming from diverse backgrounds in terms of what we do, but I think we're all people though who love the parish. But what that means for us may be different for each of us. And so it was really important for us that this project wasn't going to be about arguing for a particular case, but instead saying, sometimes there's a lot of heat attached to this debate because people care so much about it, but to say, how do we inform that conversation? How do we perhaps see how some of the underlying questions are perhaps more complicated than some knee-jerk reactions? And how do we try in a positive way to improve that conversation?
And because we wanted to influence General Synod and members of General Synod, we started by talking to them.
We totally did. So it was back in the spring. We wrote to every General Synod member with a questionnaire and had incredible feedback, over 200 responses. So that was amazing, with a massive spread across Synod. So well over 2/3 of those who responded were new to Synod, which was amazing. We had a good split across the House of Bishops, laity and clergy. 43% of our responses were from the laity and 47% from clergy. It was a good split between male and female and a lovely spread of age. And most of what we asked came back in full text form. We asked General Synod what to complete the sentence, the parish is, and the overwhelming response was a geographical focus for Christian faith and mission. And with the results that we had, I'm going to read a couple of quotes from it because these have been what have helped shaped the episodes for the podcast. One of the questions we asked was how can we improve, how can we really inform the debate around the parish, what can improve it. An overwhelming word that came up over and over again was the word trust. Let me read just an example of that. There's an overriding atmosphere of mistrust which has been evidenced in the national press and in General Synod. That was quite a stark response. Whether an idea is good or bad, mistrust filters conversation and views in particular and unhelpful ways, and we need to rebuild trust. So there we are. I mean, we were really mindful as we're putting these different episodes together to think about the diversity of voices, listening to quotes like, "The loudest voices are often not the ones we need to hear." That's a great response from somebody. I think we need to listen more to those who have grown local churches of all sizes and in all contexts. Let's listen to those on the ground who are doing things well. So that's an approach that we're really keen to bring into the various episodes. Great wealth of material, and that's taken us into the different kinds of episodes we want to focus on.
And I guess we need to say at the outset, bearing in mind what you just said about diversities, we're really aware we're a group of ordained people. That's partly because of where this project came from, out of the Strategic Leadership Development Programme, which is aimed at clergy. But we were really keen that lay voices informed a significant part of our conversation, and we'll see that as we go through the episodes. But with all that in mind, we then began to shape what the episodes might look like, and we've got some exciting topics to consider in this series. Sophie?
I think one of the really great things about the project as it's developed is its diverse range of voices that are heard. As you said, we've not been able to cover absolutely every aspect of diversity, perhaps in the fullness that we would have liked. But I think there's a really good spread of different contexts, chaplaincies, rural, urban, thinking about the different expressions of types of church, tradition, gender, and just thinking about what the opportunities are in these different contexts has been really important to the project. But I love the fact that you've really thought intelligently and carefully about what some of the really big issues are behind the question of the parish. So it'd be great to just hear a little bit about how each of those has been thought about. Toby, I think you've been especially looking at some of the foundational aspects of parish.
Yeah, absolutely. So our first episode, or our second, episode 2, the first substantive episode, we'll look at the theology and the history of the parish. So we get some understanding of the richness of this inheritance, but also how in practice it has changed over the years. It hasn't been a static thing. And there is an international dimension to that as well. Sometimes we have a very exceptionalist idea in England of the church, of the parish, and actually it's something we share with the wider church too. So some proper ecclesiology there to help inform that part of the conversation.
Great. And then cure of souls has been something important in this conversation as well, hasn't it, Sharon?
Yes, so as a mainstay of understanding the role of priest, perhaps, as traditionally as holding the cure of souls in the parish, bringing together, our aim is to bring together a mix of lay people and ordained to think about in the future, what shape might that take? What does that mean as parishes evolve and develop?
Yeah.
So that will be an exciting episode to explore.
That's music to my ears as a bishop. I think just every time a licensing service takes place, and there's that very symbolic moment of handing over the licence and saying, we share this, you share this with the bishops, is something really significant. I think as bishops, I think often people think about us as diocesan, and of course diocesan means a whole multiplication of parishes, doesn't it? And in each place there is the cure of souls, which lies right at the heart of that, so I'm really delighted about that particular subject. And then of course a topic that's close to all of our hearts, and you've already mentioned it, Matthew, the role of the laity and the mutuality of lay and ordained together. Just tell us about that episode.
Yeah, so episode 4 will consider some of the challenges but also the opportunities of holding those two things in tension, so that we don't just become a church that is concerned with clericalism and what the ordained are doing, but we are rightly seeking to empower and enable the ministry of all of God's people in each parish. And what impact that rightly held could have on the mission and ministry of the local church. That's really exciting to think about.
And that's wonderful, thinking about setting God's people free and that shift towards that full mutuality for all the baptised as the whole people of God are released for the whole mission of God. Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's great, thank you. And then of course a very key topic for all of us at the moment is the sort of mixed ecology we're talking about right at the heart of the vision and strategy work of the Church of England, but applicable to all of us as we're seeking to reach out particularly to those who perhaps don't consider themselves part of a worshipping community.
Yeah, so that fifth episode, really in response to a lot of what General Synod members have said to us, is to we aim to bring together a breadth of voices that we can inform that conversation around what does it mean to develop a mixed ecology, maybe tackling some of that question around are we being context enabled or are resources driving change, and so that will be an interesting discussion, I'm sure. We'll get there.
Fantastic. Well, I'm just thrilled that the project's reached this point. We're delighted about the way and perhaps these resources can really inform that critical discussion that's going on right now. Thank you for holding it so positively from the diverse places from which you come, and just really delighted and hope that it will be impactful for the wider Church of England for the coming years.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.